I want you. I mean, I'm doing what I said I built this platform on. And it's sometimes having those uncomfortable conversations. And one of these topics tonight is I'm going to dabble in, and I know it's going to be a little uncomfortable. Stay on the block. Okay? It's but it's not right. Brittany, I'm so sorry that you had to experience this. I just don't even have words. But you're an amazing woman. And I'm sorry, Kenya, when you tried to justify and say she signed a lease and it's just documentation. I'm sorry, it's not. Brittany buried what she wanted to have buried and sealed to never be opened, no matter what the case may be. So whatever private investigator you hired is illegal, and they did what they did because they knew how to get beyond the gates of what she put on them. And you wanted that because you wanted to go to hell, like Cynthia said. So it wasn't. And I'm going to be honest with you. Hey, y'all. I haven't ate today, so I'm going to eat my food really quickly. And we're going to listen to a few things and talk about this whole situation. And then we're going to have a final conversation. As y'all can see, I put Diddy is guilty of 2 of the 5 counts. Women aren't protected. And as you can see on the screen that I posted for the video, I put here, men don't protect women. Neither do some women. And we're going to talk about that. I know some people may not feel or see where I'm going to go with that. Stick around. I just want to eat my quick lunch. I haven't ate all day. It's been a crazy day. With me and with everything else. But I've got to really talk about this. And we're going to get into some things. So let's run over back to Instagram. I'm going to go see if my mic is charged up, and my mouse is charged up enough. And then we're going to run down some things. We're going to chill over here for a while. We're over here on Twitch and YouTube just today. We're streaming just on Twitch and YouTube today. Tomorrow we're going to fix some things with Instagram and Facebook. I don't know what Meta got going on, but there's some streaming issues, and it's also the issue why my connection be tripping. So I'm going to go ahead and remove Facebook and Instagram until they get it together. But I may prop up and go live on TikTok. I got the phone right here. I'm at 92%. While I'm eating, we're going to just chill and listen to some things. And then after I'm done eating, because I need to eat, I got to have some energy to get ready to talk about this. And after I'm done eating, we're then going to just dive into this whole situation. Not only are we going to dive into the Diddy part of this conversation, and it's going to be my last conversation because the case is over until trial for sentencing. And after that, we're done. I'll give my opinion on what I think that he'll get sentenced on. I did say in other videos, I did not believe he was going to get hit with the hammer. So I'm not shocked. Was I a little appalled that the RICO did not get applied at all? Just a little. And I'll break down why I feel that way. Again, this is all my opinion and my conversation, but I'm glad you joined, and I hope you can come on in and get in it. What's up, Ray? Crew is in the building. And if you are not a member of the channel, I go live every Thursday. We're going to start with the podcast that's going to drop on some other days called Let's Have a Convo. Where's that flyer? Hey, y'all. So here we go. So yes, we have the Let's Have a Convo podcast coming. Where we'll be dropping on other days out of the week except for Thursdays. We'll be dedicated to our live conversations where I'm here every night on Thursday. So I'll be back tomorrow. So join me tomorrow. We'll be done finally. Our Thursdays have been taken over for this past month about Diddy, and it is now done. And I'm a little shocked, but my main point that I really want to make. So, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, all things Konversation with K. And we gonna get into this. It's crazy. Actually, let me go get my mouse. I don't know if y'all heard I sound like y'all little cousin around here, but hair is cute, okay? It is. Let me, you see me? Hair is, I put the little beads in, just something a little different. Oh, I got this all just, looks some kind of decent. Okay. All right. So, as I said, I'm going to eat me some food really quickly. We're going to listen to some things. I promise I'm kind of probably going to make you hungry. Got some nice chicken sliders that I'm about to slam down real quick, okay? Yes, it's like a mukbang conversation, all right? I didn't put it in the title, but y'all watch other people eat. You sit on TikTok and watch people eat and review food. So, watch me. And then we're going to get into some things. We really got to talk about this whole thing. I'm going to go live on TikTok right now. All right. How was y'all Wednesday? I hope everybody had a great Wednesday. Okay, we're gonna get all live on here on TikTok too. I just gotta get the camera right. Okay. All right. And if you over are, yeah, I don't know why. I just need it to stay like right there. All right. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Is the mic gonna work? Is the mouse gonna work? Oh, okay, perfect. Yes. All right. Hey, TikTok. All right. I see y'all over there. So I know. I know that's so bad. I'm about to be eating. So I'm not gonna smack. And I might push the mic away or mute myself while I eat. But y'all, this verdict is in. So here, let's look at this, and then we'll dive a little deeper into some things. Okay? So, here is what we have. Okay? Count 1, racketeering conspiracy, not guilty. Count 2, everybody over there on TikTok, what's going on with y'all? I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. Let me greet the people over there on TikTok. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. All right, y'all. Hey, I'm over here live on YouTube. If you want to join us over here on YouTube, follow us over on YouTube at Konversation with K. Okay, let me put the background up. Maybe I can put the background up. But yes, follow me on, head over to YouTube, TikTok. If not, y'all can stay right here and you can get the conversation live and direct right here as well. But we want to... Okay. Effects. There we are. Uh-oh. So I'm trying to add... Okay, there we go. Trying to add my background. Okay. So you guys can follow me. Head on over to YouTube, Konversation with K, and that's Konversation with a K, not a C. Okay? Can you see it? All right, Facebook, everybody over there. What's up, YouTube? I'm coming back to y'all. Don't y'all stay nowhere. Stay right there. Okay? We're going to get back into it. We just left off on count 2. Okay? So, we are getting ready to figure this all out. Raker! What's going on, my guy? Okay. TikTok, welcome to a live conversation. YouTube, TikTok is over here, so I'm working 2 cameras, okay? I'm down at the bottom of y'all, but y'all can hear me. I can hear y'all. TikTok, can y'all hear me? I see the hearts. Thank y'all for the hearts. Double tap the screen. Share this live. We're going to talk about the Diddy trial and also women not being protected by men or by men and women. Women aren't even protected by their own. And I'm going to say my own piece on that because I really feel like this case has shown its own way of how women aren't protected, whether it be by women or men. They're not protected. And it just is what it is, okay? So, guilty, count 1. And I would love for y'all to be able to see, but flipping my camera... All right, no, that just flips it there. All right, so guilty. All right, hey. Guilty, count 1, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, not guilty. Count 2, that was count 2. Count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution, guilty. Okay. Count 4, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion. Coercion. He was found not guilty. Okay. Count 5, transportation to engage in prostitution, guilty. So what this verdict tells me is that pretty much we know he took people on a trip for prostitution, but we don't believe he had an enterprise and he was supported by people. We don't believe that Cassie was trafficked by force or coercion. And count 4 is really for Jane Doe, which we want to respect Jane Doe, but Jane Doe's story coming on here as your authentic self. We'll find out who Jane Doe is. I'll show it pretty soon. This is now that it's all wrapped up. But the same thing for her. But we know that they were transported to prostitution. Okay? A lot of people feel that prosecution didn't do their job. A lot of people feel like defense did their job. And a lot of people feel like Diddy didn't do it. And a lot of people feel like Diddy did do it. And then a lot of men, and a sprinkle good handful of women felt like, well, Cassie should get something too. And you know what? I just don't agree with that. And I'm really kind of sick and tired of hearing that narrative. Like, it's no shade. I'm really tired of hearing the negative, that Cassie should have deserved what she got. So, as y'all know, the streets went crazy. Some people are saying Diddy supporters were celebrating the verdict with baby oil outside of the courthouse. Okay, if you haven't seen that video. And then some people feel this way. F Diddy, F the judge, F the jury, I ain't going there. And no, I'm not going there too. That's your own opinion, but I will not repeat that and not say that. Diddy found guilty of transportation, prostitution, acquitted of the sex trafficking and RICO. There it is. The internet was going crazy. And a lot of people didn't really quite understand it. Inner City Press, this was right out of the verdict. The deputy will inquire as to the verdict. Deputy of matter, read it out. Got guilty, not guilty, guilty. Deputy, got guilty. So they ran it all through. It's a weird time. And people are honestly showing their true colors. And, hold on. And the reason why I said what I said when I said that I truly... Let's see. So he was denied bail. Okay. We'll get into that. We'll get into what people had to say. We're going to get into that. So they were already in place, like ramping up security because they thought Diddy was really going to be released today. Judge denied the bail. He will be in jail for the 4th of July. So there is a lot. Let's see what she's talking about.
Because the judge has denied his request for bail. As you guys know, it's been a super busy day today in the newsroom. Diddy was found not guilty on 3 of 5 of the charges. And the 3 charges that he was found not guilty of were the more serious charges. So it's a very big win for Diddy today. However, the judge was not going to release him and said that Diddy needed to stay behind bars before his actual sentencing. So we will not be seeing Diddy partying anytime this weekend. Quick update.
All right. So, and then, you have people that supported this. I'm going to play this video from Boosie. I didn't quite agree with it. Cassie's team sent a letter on her behalf, but this was a letter. And this is the reaction to the verdict when it got released
guilty.
Here at TMZ.
Sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura, not guilty. Transportation of prostitution, guilty. So count 1 and 2, not guilty.
Wow.
Mannack, guilty.
Wow.
All right, so that's sex trafficking, no. Count 1, no. Count 3, yes. Mannack. Mannack.
Sex trafficking, not guilty. Transportation of prostitution, Jane, guilty.
Wow, so 2
that's
Mannacks. 2 Mannacks, and that's it.
Even though he's found guilty, this is a loss for prosecutors.
In the matter of U.S. versus Combs, count 1, not guilty. Sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura. No.
So, looking at a lot of this, a lot of people were really appalled. Okay? They couldn't really believe the verdict. It was kind of like, wait, no, you're kidding me, right? You're kidding. That's not really the case. It's no way. I actually would love to play. Here we go. Oh, but okay, TikTok. This is what I need for you guys. I need y'all to come on over to YouTube because we're going to listen to some audio from Law and Crime. But follow me on YouTube. Konversation with K, and that's Konversation with the K, not a C. We're live right now. All right. I'll see y'all. I'll come back to y'all and do the after show. Okay. So let's listen to some audio. Now, during this case, I followed Law and Crime for the real details. And then I followed Armand for the kikis and the ha-has and the, to bring the moment in. So we're going to start with let's hear when they talked about breaking news when they all found out. And then we're going to hear about how the family and then things were acting. This is a 16-minute video, 14-minute video, 17-minute video. So we're going to watch these 3 videos, take a listen, and going to give some feedback after that. Okay?
Time no see. Good to be with you. I'm Chris Stewart. Welcome back to the Law and Crime live stream. We have live coverage. I know we just had a verdict is in animation run. I want to be clear that a no. Diddy Combs. Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers are still meeting with him in private as we wait for the verdict to be read in court. We know that Combs' mom and his sister are in the courtroom. We saw members of his family, his children were there. They actually prayed with Sean Diddy Combs inside of the courtroom this morning before members of his family left, which was probably about 15, 20 minutes ago. And then Sean Combs went to a separate room where he was going to wait out these deliberations. I want to bring in our panel of experts who are with me this morning, starting at 9 o'clock. Candace Kelly, legal analyst, and then we have William Corman, who's a criminal defense attorney. Both are joining us. So very quick, since I last spoke to you, that verdicts come in. Just Candace, what's your reaction? I mean, we were thinking potentially that this was going to be a hung jury. We're still working on getting those guests. But again, we're
I just want to make sure. Can y'all hear the audio? Okay.
This morning, because of yesterday, the jury used the term unpersuadable when saying that that's where they were at on this racketeering conspiracy charge that Sean Combs was facing, even though they were able to find unanimous verdicts on 4 counts facing Diddy. But here we are, just an hour in, going home, sleeping on it. The 12 members of the jury returning a verdict. We're going to work on getting our guests up. But Sierra, walk us through, as you've covered this every day, of what makes this racketeering charge so complicated and why it seemed the jury, at least early on in these deliberations, they were having an issue coming to a verdict on this charge leading up to about 5 minutes ago.
Well, I'm really not surprised that it was count 1 that was the hung jury or the confusion, right? Because it is the most complicated of all of them, racketeering conspiracy. And this is something we've talked at length about with the predicate crimes, things like arson, bribery, forced labor, kidnapping. And it's got to be confusing. I mean, for me, who doesn't have a law degree, I've been covering this case for quite some time now. Even at times I waver and I'm like, wait, what is this about? Let's, make sure to go back and really think about it. And I think for jurors, that's what it's got to be, right? It's now become their job to figure this out. However, they weren't watching P. Diddy before all of this. They might have seen his name in the news, but they weren't really zoning in on racketeering conspiracy. And I think the biggest issue in all of this is likely that it's a conspiracy, right? Multiple people had to take part in this conspiracy, and yet there was only one person charged, one defendant, P. Diddy. And to me, that could be the question mark in all of this. And I do want to say, before we throw back to our guests really quickly, we were not expecting this verdict. P. Diddy's family walked out of the courtroom. I watched them go. Everyone thought, okay, that's the way it's going to be. And all of a sudden, they're coming right back in. We're getting the rush. And again, it just wasn't expected after 1 hour of deliberation this morning.
Court update again. Sean Combs has entered the courtroom. He looked at his family. Again, his mom and his sister are there right now. He looked at his family, nodded his head, and flashed a small smile. Let's bring in our experts right now. Candace Kelly, legal analyst. William Corbin, good to see you again. What is your reaction, Candace? I'll start with you. William Corbin, criminal defense attorney, by the way. But Candace, I'll start with you. Your reaction to the jury reaching this verdict?
Well, listen, I'm not surprised. I know that we talked about lunch just a few minutes ago. I'm a little quiet now because I'm in a TV studio. You probably see people running behind me, by the way. But I'm not surprised because, listen, we know that there was a point where they were coming to a conclusion in all this, and we thought that it was going to be today. I think what happened is that when they slept on it, maybe a lot of them made their decisions and came to a conclusion when they got to court, because that was very quick. It's 10:13 right now. Not a lot of discussions, probably just a lot of voting on each of the charges and then moving on.
It'll be fascinating to hear just how many people yesterday were on one side compared to the others, on this charge, the 12 jurors. William, what's your reaction that they were able to, in about an hour today, find a verdict?
This is why I never bet on how long it's going to take to reach a verdict.
Right.
Because I think both Candace and I were looking at noon or a little bit after noon,
Yes.
and that was about 6 minutes ago. So we're both way off. I agree with Candace. I think that giving them the night off, giving them the pause, allowed whoever it was that needed to do some internal soul searching, whoever it was that needed to marshal their arguments to convince whatever holdouts there were, they did their job. And so now here we are. Again, as I mentioned a little while ago, sitting around waiting for a verdict is very taxing. Thing worse than sitting around waiting for a verdict is when you know there is a verdict and you're sitting around waiting for the verdict to be read. This is about as high drama and about as tense as it gets. I've been in this position many times. It is an uncomfortable feeling because you're trying to read tea leaves that simply don't exist. They are sitting in that courtroom right now, just staring at the walls, waiting for the jurors to come in, waiting for everyone to reassemble. And it's tense and it's tough and it's taxing.
Let's get to this update. The judge says we received a note at 9:52 a.m. and it reads, "We have reached a verdict on all counts. Anything to address before we bring out the jury? Both sides say no. The judge says maintain order while the verdict is being read and until we have the jury out." Candace, walk us through We don't have cameras in the courtroom, but what is going to happen next?
Well, listen, this gives time for the family to reconvene. As we know, the family left. They perhaps thought like us that they had a little more time. It gives everybody a time to kind of shore up, be ready, be there as you would want somebody who's a defendant who may not be walking out of the jail. So with that in mind, everybody gets assembled. And then the foreperson is going to read the verdict once everybody is marshaled in. And as you mentioned, the judge is going to have to do a very good job to say, everybody, please be calm. Make sure that your reactions are in accordance with the rules and guidelines of the courtroom. As we know, though, Chris, that is very difficult to maintain. I am sure that regardless of what the verdict is, there is going to be a reaction, because any combination of an outcome, guilty, not guilty, it's going to be a surprise, because we just don't know, and we just are not the jurors in there making the decision.
All right. So that was that one. Let's take a listen to this.
An hour, 9:52 a.m. They sent the note that they had a verdict. Sean Combs, guilty for transporting prostitutes. The Mann Act, guilty on those 2 counts, but that's it. Not guilty on the rest. Candace Kelly, you have been outstanding to be with us throughout the morning here, especially hopping on with the breaking news of this verdict. Thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. And now let's bring in Elizabeth Milner. She is live outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Elizabeth, I will hand you the ball. What was it like to be in the courtroom? Take us inside the moment.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me tell you something, Chris. The moment was it was the moment that everyone's been waiting for. And I literally had to go count by count by count, just writing out, what was it going to be? And so obviously count 1 being not guilty, count 2 being not guilty, count 4 being not guilty. The only guilties were for count 3 and count 5, that being transportation to engage in prostitution, i.e. the Mann Act. And so I will say this, Chris, that whenever I will say this, Chris, that whenever the verdict was being read out loud, that Tinny and Sean Combs were holding hands, like clasping hands very much together during the verdict. There was an audible exclaim coming out from the gallery, that being Sean Combs' family, that being the other people who were just sitting from members of the public, because obviously all of us in the press were just writing everything down, that there was very much an exclaim that came out when count 2 and count 4 were read out loud, but also count 1. Obviously, those were the charges that Sean Combs was acquitted of. And a lot of people are like, yes, yes, yes. I saw him turn around in his seat at the defense table to tell his family he's coming home. His family they were crying tears of happiness, obviously. I remember I was speaking to Charlucci, one of Diddy's childhood friends, somebody who's been inside that courtroom every single day of trial, but also he was one to be attending some of those pre-trial hearings. He's been adamant that his really good friend is innocent. He's been adamant about this. He was the one also coming in with the free puff shirts. I asked him what were his thoughts after this verdict was read out loud, and he said, God is good. So obviously from the defense's side, the lawyers all hugging, they were shaking, they were crying. And Anna Maria Estevao, they literally hugged and cried while after the jury was dismissed, after they were taken back to the attorney room. There was an audible applause even for Mark Agnifilo, Mark the Shark. People were just standing up and clapping for him. And again, everyone, this wasn't just the Combs family that was doing this. This was also members of the public who were inside that courtroom. I saw that whenever the jury was still present, so I'm kind of going a little step back here, Chris, is that whenever the verdict was read and he saw that it was only guilty for count 3 and 5, that he looked at the jury. And I think, if I'm remembering this correctly, because everything just kind of felt like a blur, but I think I'm remembering this correctly, I saw him mouth thank you to the jurors, or at least bare minimum do this to them. I saw that Justin's girlfriend was crying. Shapiro was nodding over at Sean Combs. Sean Combs again told his family that he was coming home, and I did make it a note right here, Chris, I just got to it, that obviously Sean Combs was thanking the jury, looked at the jury whenever they were leaving for the day. So obviously from the defensive side, obviously those for people who were very much Team Combs were just very, very pleased with the verdict, to the point where Mark Agnifilo made a pretty strong and compelling bail application argument too. Obviously, we don't know if Sean Combs is going to be released today, possibly pending sentencing for the counts that he was found guilty on, but we'll see once those letters come in later this afternoon and we hear arguments from both sides. With the family, I will tell you, Chris, they're very happy, even with 2 of the counts being coming back as guilty.
Yeah, and with just how concerned it seemed that Sean Combs was yesterday for the partial verdict, to then have this unanimous verdict and what he was found not guilty of. Elizabeth Milner, thank you. I now want to bring in Law and Crime CEO and founder Dan Abrams. Dan, thank you for taking the time to be with us. What is your reaction, especially on this count one racketeering conspiracy, Sean Combs not guilty?
Look, this is a win for Sean Combs. This is a big victory. No matter how you look at this case, there was almost no chance he was going to be acquitted of the transportation for the purposes of prostitution counts. Now, when you looked at all the evidence, all the records, all the documents with regard to those counts, it was hard to imagine how he would have been acquitted of those charges. The fact that he was acquitted of all of the most serious charges is a big win. And let's talk for a moment about the racketeering charge. What, yesterday they were so incapable of reaching a unanimous verdict. They said that people, I forget the exact wording about the language that they used to talk about the divide on the jury. And then they come in and within an hour, they've got a unanimous verdict on it. It just shows you that judges sending the jurors back can work. Jurors will tell the judge, "Oh, we're hopelessly deadlocked." The judge will say, "Go back, go back." Well, in this case, it was pretty easy. But look, headline is, this is a big win for Sean Combs.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, after all of this big win, they expected that it was going to be a bigger win and he would be denied bail.
Have a verdict in the Sean Diddy Combs criminal case after all of these weeks. And if you thought that was the only major decision of the day, you would be wrong. We're going to talk about what happened on this absolutely monumental day in court. So it made me think they might have already been decided there. I was surprised about Cassie Ventura sex trafficking just because, like you said, the readback of that testimony, and then shortly thereafter, they came back yesterday and said, we have a verdict on that charge. So I thought they're convinced. And when it came to racketeering, I thought they were still going to be hung because they said they were at an impasse yesterday. It seemed like based on their note, there was no way that would change. The judge told them to continue deliberating. They come back today, and like in an hour, they come back not guilty on racketeering. I'm not really sure what that split ultimately will be. Maybe the jurors will speak out and we'll hear. Got to ask you about Diddy's reaction. Okay, so we have courtroom sketches of what it looked like. You were in there. What was his reaction to the verdict?
Oh, he was very pleased with the verdict. Obviously, I think for the defense and the defendant, that being Sean Combs, I think obviously they would have wanted an acquittal on all the charges. But I think given that they weren't a conviction on the more serious charges of RICO conspiracy and sex trafficking as it relates to Cassie in one charge and Jane in another charge, I think overall Combs was very, very pleased with the jury, to the point where I saw him kind of mouth a little thank you to the jurors as they were still sitting kind of in the jury box, as they were kind of leaving for the end of their day. Obviously, we still have some more matters to address for our end. But in terms of just his reaction, even his family's reaction, Jesse, I think they were so happy knowing that there's such a strong possibility that their father will come home. Obviously, if he would have been convicted on the more serious charges, that might have been a different discussion. But given that he was only convicted on count 3 and 5, that being the Mann Act, it seems like given that it comes with a lesser penalty and sentencing, I think the family is like, yes, our father is coming home, our loved one is coming home, and we hope to see him very, very soon.
And
we're done there. So here's my because I don't even have to clutch my pearls for nothing like this. I'm gonna throw my pearls. I'm throw them all. Here's my thing. People are going to probably think like, oh my God, you wanted Diddy to do some jail time. Like, why are you so upset? I did not want him to do or it is not in my power, let me say that, to say that this man should do anything. Do I have an opinion? Yes. But I tried to stay very fair in my opinion. I think when I did my first video about this Diddy situation, I said how much of a fan I was of Diddy and Bad Boys. So I'm not sitting here and acting like I'm not a fan of the artists that he produced, the music that he curated and put out. I'm a fan. But when all of this started to come out and hit the air, things changed. Things changed. I believed people's stories. Some I didn't. And I think I've said it along this journey. But when you look down to the counts, I don't know why Jane Doe even had to be the issue. What I do realize is that the RICOing was supporting all 30-something of those witnesses. That is why they had 30-something witnesses, maybe 32, because 2 of the 34, out of 34 witnesses, 2 of them were Cassie and Jane Doe. So 32 witnesses were to support the RICOing, and it failed. I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna be really interested to see when these jurors come out and start speaking and talking. Oh, baby, it's gonna happen fast. If I'm not gonna be surprised if we don't have somebody on Good Morning America tomorrow. It's over. TMZ will be exposing or interviewing one of the jurors really soon. But here's what I want people to think about. This is the conversation that I want to have about all of this. And then I'll give my final conversation at the end when we get to trial. But what I want to say about this today, based off of the series of events that we've seen today, all the way up until this point, women aren't protected. Women aren't protected. And it's a sad thing. So, okay, why do you say women aren't protected? I'm glad you asked. Here's why. This case alone, I think everybody thought of it and heard of it as a domestic violence case. But we did not hear of the inhumane things that he used to make people do. And it's like, if we're going to just say like none of that matters, that is why I'm really, really interested to see when the jury starts to talk, where was the divide at? Was the divide with the 8 men and the 4 women? Because I'm pretty sure that these white men went in there and the one black guy with nothing in their head to think that anything, because the world, and we're not gonna act like these people weren't listening to social media. Even though they were told to stay off the internet, don't listen to nothing, they were listening to the things of the things. Men, 8 men did not find this, and I'll be surprised if I'm totally. I'll be surprised if one of the men said, well, I thought he was, guilty of all, but I was outvoted. And so I just had to say, all right, I'll go with majority. And I don't even think if that was okay. I also think women, the 4 women, out of 12, the 4 women. Now, everybody wanted to holler, oh, well, it's white man, it's this and that. No one ever once did I hear out there that we're dealing with a jury where it is majority men. It don't matter what race they are. If this is a man on trial for doing racketeering, SF trafficking, S trafficking, and a numerous of other things that we've heard throughout this series, why didn't that jury of 12 people have 6 and 6? I think we failed the woman there. I think we failed women there. When you don't have a fair playing field, because let's say that the 4 women were like, well, we believe he did it. And exactly what we've seen through this case, and that is why I could be completely wrong. And I will come back on here when these documentaries drop and say, wow, that threw me for a loop. Did you hear what such and such said? Because I believe, just like this case we saw, women were outpowered because of money and men. You know, I am a man, but I'm not that narcissistic male chauvinist, okay? I'm the one that your wives and, you know, your girlfriends love to come to with the fashion and have a good time with and kiki and try to steal our lingo and, you know, until, yeah. But we're the ones. We speak up, we protect them, even though sometimes that they come at us, okay? Gay men protect women more than straight men do. I'ma just keep it a buck. We do. We do. We look out for them, we protect them after you've hurt them, after you've made them cry, after you've made them feel some type of way. We empower them, we give them strength. We encourage, we cook, whip an outfit out, do their hair, do their nails, travel with them. All the things that you're supposed to be doing. Men of America. No woman, no race is safe. I mean, James Brown said it and we loved it. We played that song over. This is a man's world. You know, that to start that line off. But then he also does say that it wouldn't be nothing without a woman, a boy, or a girl. But we need to just stop being seen as this is a man's world. And I'm going to get into the conversation with that. Let's Have a Convo has a specific episode about that. And here's the flip side to it. There's a lot of women out there that weren't protecting women either. Cassie wanted to do it. Cassie wanted to. Cassie this, Cassie that. Cassie called him up. Cassie made the moves. Was it Cassie's money? Like, what gets me is y'all try to act like you ain't never been that dummy for a hiccup. Like, you've never been that one where, oh, I'll cook and clean and I'll make the tacos. Girl, you better stop calling my man phone, because if you don't call my man phone again, I'm going to beat you up, girl, and da-da. You mad at the girl, but you ain't mad at your man. Women are also the problem for some women. Because just the problem, and that's the thing. And, you know, I speak on it really big because I am from the African American culture. You know, you got to let certain things like that be known nowadays. So this is the perception and the reality of where I speak on it from. I can't say how I see Caucasian men and Latino men and Asian men and other different ethnicities men treat their women, because I've never was brought up in that race. I may have seen some things out here on the world. I may have watched a few shows, but I know how the black man treats the woman and how the black woman treats the woman, because I see it in my community. And so when I'm speaking on it, I'm speaking specifically on how I see it take place in my community. It's sad. You go down the street and ask a black girl, how many, it's not a common conversation that you're going to hear you're going to ask a black woman, how many girlfriends you got? Like, how many sisters? And when, what? A lot of them don't. You don't see many girls being friends. And then if you do see them, you got that percentage of the ones that where they're all bitter. So they mad and they angry and they all venting and miserying on the same thing. But yet and still, shots, baddies. Meanwhile, as soon as the liquor is fully in, that ain't nothing. Girl, I could just get my rose. What? Don't trust no. Women are not protected. Because there is a generation, there is a group of women out there that I feel want to be. They're not trying to follow the narrative of just throwing eights and shaking it, twerking with no clothes off. All you see is the BBLs. You don't see women wear any kind of clothes anymore. I think I'm going somewhere to another conversation. That is why I say this case went the way it did. Because women aren't protected. I don't think Cassie would have anything to gain. And then y'all want to holler, oh, well, she's sitting on $30 million. Money is not, like, I don't get why y'all think social media has really put y'all in a place to think that money can solve all your problems. Because you can just get on the gram and flex, and then you're going to get a ton of views, and you think that, oh, I made it. I'm a socialite because I've got a ton of views. I think like Drew Sidor said, you must be delusional. She didn't say it like that, but she said, you must be delusional. Some of y'all are living in a land of delusion. And it's scary. Because if a woman could never come forward and say how, yes, I was in love with this man. Yes, he promised me at the age of 19 that I would get everything that I wanted, from a record deal to being in every movie to having the houses, the cars. And he used all of his power and what he had to lure me in. And yes, I loved him. What was I not supposed to do? We're not acting like we're talking about somebody that was just ugly and you couldn't look at him. And I mean, somebody that didn't have a big shaboinka wouldn't be having all these freak offs. So Diddy was full of himself and he knew what he was capable of. Just like that first love that y'all had. Are we not allowed to have a first love? Or somebody that we are so in love with, we can't believe that I lost myself being in love with them. It just throws me how you guys want to blame her and say, she wanted this. Who wants to get drugged, stepped on, busted head, sent away for months because you've been hiding because you done been beat up? Like, who wants that? That's why I just say, like, with a group of 8 men, they just thought that was okay. They just thought that was okay. I just don't see in what world is that okay. And then women are sitting there right on the bandwagon with some of these men. While we're also even in the state of the economy that we in, because you got some women that sit there and vote for Trump too because their husbands told them to do so. Even though they knew their rights and reproductive system and all this other type of stuff they were going to be taken. No more your choice. Your body belongs to your husband and the United States of America. And see, even with this Diddy stuff, we have totally not been paying attention to what's been going on in the world. The world is losing it. This video will be in the archives of YouTube forever. And we've got to get back to a place where we're doing something different. Because I'm telling you, if this is the route we're going, woo, you must be delusional. It's sad. And you know, listening to it, I'm human and I love God for real. You know, and hearing what Cassie went through, sad. Capricorn Clark, sad. Dante, sad. I mean, all the others. Yet and still, we felt a certain type of way about certain people. When you are a victim, for one, all of this took to have some big baskets. To sit on this stand and relive this. To know that you're getting ready to go through another good year of scrutiny. Because this is not going to be over until he gets trialed. And then even once he gets trialed, it'll die down for a minute. But here's my prediction. Diddy will only probably get, because each charge holds 15 years max. Diddy is going to get maybe... I'm going to go with my first instinct. I said 20 years. Right? I said 20. But my second one, if I had to be one, would probably be 15. And if my last choice that I had to really give, he would get nothing less than 10 years. Those are just my 3 predictions. But to every woman, man, to everyone that is now fearful of their life because they know, like, he won't be gone away forever. To know that the team that he once had, all the way up until he was caught, because he got a new group of security, because all of them are old. Y'all know that. You know, like, they're in their 50s like him, so he had to go in and get another good young group to groom and train up and you get them younger. Nowadays, you get them, they ready. Just imagine what the team gonna look like when he get out now. Because I'm telling you, everybody is waiting for a freak off. They got people outside the courts throwing oil on themselves. They can't even wait. They are ready. And Diddy, no matter what, he'll never be the same after this. He'll never be the same. But in his eyes, and a lot of other people's eyes, he won. This is a win for Diddy. But in another pair of eyes that I think this wasn't a win. Because you still gonna have to adhere to me. See, that's the thing. We think that everything we do on this earth is for the earthly people. You can feel how you want to feel, but I can say how I know I feel. And I know that one day I'm going to have to stand before one. And he's told us who his faith belief is. So I know that we have something in common. And if that's the case, I'm pretty sure from the images and everything, he was thanking God like there was no tomorrow. But He still said, I know, my child, because just like me, just like you, just like anybody else, just because I got you off this one doesn't mean that I got you off. I'm a little disappointed in our people that represent us. And I can't say us, because I know for sure that I don't think there was anybody on the jury that is a representation of me, gay and black. Maybe a black, but I'm not sure about the gay. I'm going to elaborate so much more on this women don't support women and men are not protecting women on an episode of Let's Have a Convo. But I had to really go there with this now because women aren't protected. And it showed through this case. And no matter what y'all think or how y'all try to flip it, Diddy got away. And I don't think he deserved to just get a slap on the back and not take any accountability. This man knows what he did. He knows what he has done. And no matter what you try to do or say, I just wish he would have took accountability for what he knows that he done. Diddy! So to every victim, to everyone that was, God, to all who had to endure what you endured with this man, I truly send you love and light. I pray that you don't live in a place of fear, because he's not God. Okay? He has no power to put you in a heaven or a hell. So please, live your life. Don't feel at no waste time that you cannot live. To anybody else that has ever dealt with somebody that is like a Diddy, okay, now you feel like, oh, I'm really never telling nobody, because if these people didn't get believed on what Diddy did, I know I will never be believed. Well, let me let you know, there's somebody that sits high and looks low and that watches it all. So you get the healing that you need to get for yourself, so you can walk around not feeling so heavy and burdened. But know that people that do the things that they've done, like the things that we've heard be testified, and the things that we've heard that come out of this case, know that they have to hold an account. Even though they got acquitted out of the counts down here, there's somebody that's not going to acquit you from those charges when you get there. And I hope those jurors sleep tight knowing they made the right decision. Because the conscience is always going to let you know that you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You didn't follow what you were supposed to follow. And for whatever reason, if them jurors allegedly feel like Diddy going to take care of them, if they feel like, well, I'm going to be made whether which way it goes, I voted. I mean, you know, I don't know. I cannot wait till they start talking. But I can tell you this, we won't be hearing from Cassie. I don't know what production company is going to get her to do a sit down, but she's probably only going to do one, if that, and that's going to be it. I just seen in my phone that Diddy actually done already sent a note. Diddy has a message for his family. After skating on the most serious charges in his criminal trial, I'm coming home. Wow. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. And I'm hoping and praying that we start doing better. Because if we keep on allowing everybody else to come in to our community, and I say this because everybody knows what community is, it doesn't look like a race. It looks like a group of people that come and unite. Community. Unity. There's no race in unity. It's a group of people that unite together because we believe in the same thing. So if we don't get and work on establishing healthy communities to push out here in this world, oh, we in for a treat. We are in for a treat. I'm really speechless, but I had to come on here and get this last, conversation of the trial out the way. Because we're done now. We don't know when Diddy will be sentenced. It hasn't been said. Maybe it'll drop tomorrow. But he's not getting out. Judge tried to say $1 million bail. This, that, take that. We won't do no. The fact that they even had to say he won't do no freak offs. Because he was doing freak ups all the way up until he got caught. With the new team. You still with me? I'm thrown, y'all. I'm really like, but it is what it is. And I don't mean to say that to discard or discredit anybody that underwent the alleged abuse of Mr. Sean Combs. Now, I will say for all y'all that was out there in YouTube land that you did not say allegedly and you accused this man of all of this stuff, every video I did was alleged. Okay? I just got it from other sources and I reported it. But it was all alleged because now he has been proven that he did not do racketeering, that he did not do coerce, but he did engage in transportation and prostitution. But he did not coerce any of these women. He didn't force. That's what gets me. He didn't force Kathy. So that content, I can't. So we're done, y'all. Tomorrow we'll be back at 7 o'clock. 8 p.m., maybe 7:30. Just for a little bit longer because, we over there on Twitch. 30-minute show preview. But we'll be done. We'll be back to our conversations. I don't know who I'm going to drag on the panel for tomorrow to have a conversation about. But we will see. To everyone that watches this replay video, to all of my crew, I love y'all. Especially my women. Okay? And the women that support women. I'm not talking about just because now you want to be a supporter because I done called you out. But no, we got to really do it. And men, you've got to change and step up too. It's time. This case just showed us that women are not supported. And no matter what you call sex, it's sex. And I could take it from you when y'all want it, treat you how I want to treat you, degrade you to the lowest because, hey, you're mine. I can blackmail you, mess with your exes when you try to move onward because I got that power. I wish you would. And if this man knew he was not that untouched, oh, now he thinks he is to infinity and beyond. He got us, sky is the limit. His kids feel like we are untouched. We are the Black Kardashians. So the documentaries and all those things, which jury is going to speak first? That's what I'm interested to see. And when will sentencing take place? Well, I must say this has been an interesting conversation, but it had to be one that had to be had. This is the conversation of the Diddy trial. He was found guilty of 2 of the 5 counts. Okay? Diddy will not be locked in jail for life. My best bet is the first one, he may get 20 years. My second one is he may get 15. And my last is he may get nothing under 10. I'm not wanting this man to go to jail. But when you do what you do, and there is a law or a crime that's attached to what you do, and you broke that, well, they wouldn't have you in there if you didn't do something that was kind of breaking the law. But then to have a juror of your own peer of men, who think like you do probably, acquit you from these charges, and made every victim feel like you're a piece of you're fired, was sad to me. It was utterly sad. People are afraid now. People want to leave the country. And people don't want to have nothing to do with this man. But it is gonna kind of be interesting to see who's going to support him that didn't show up at all throughout this time, and who he's also going to allow to be around because they didn't show up. Now, I know that Kanye West and him, they're going to have some fun. Fun, baby, fun. More oil. All right? So, I am appalled, y'all. I mean, for real. It's really, I have no words. I really have no words. July 2nd, 2025 is a day that we'll never forget. And that judge wasn't playing with him. He said, I'm denying bail. I don't care what you think or what you say. You will not try to run yourself to Bali or to Thailand or somewhere out of here. So, with that being said, I really, really can't believe it. But July 2nd, 2025 will never be the same. If you are rewatching this video, I appreciate you. To the crew, I love you. Thank you. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This was a conversation that had to be had, although it was one that we were waiting to unfold to see what the end is going to be. But, as he told us and said before, we ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We can't be stopped now, 'cause it's bad boys for life. I'll see y'all tomorrow. We